A woman at a luxury resort demanded I move from my poolside lounge chair, snapping, "I'm a gold member, and you clearly don't belong here." When I refused, she called hotel security, sneering, "Escort this nobody off the property." But the moment the resort manager walked over and shook my hand, she went pale, and when he informed her who I really was, she nearly fainted. I never planned to get involved in anything like this. I'm retired now, living a quieter life. I'm not into drama, I don't go looking for fights, and I sure as hell don't enjoy being the center of attention. All I wanted was a relaxing week with my wife in a beautiful place. That's it. But some people just can't help themselves. And this woman? She made a mistake she'll regret for a long time. Let me start from the beginning. I'm 68. I built a business from nothing. I'm not going to give away too many personal details here, but I ran a successful business for over 30 years. I started it in my garage, grew it with everything I had, and eventually sold it to a major company in the luxury hospitality industry. The sale gave me enough money to retire comfortably, travel when I want, and never worry about work again. I'm not flashy. I don't wear designer clothes. I'm not interested in impressing anyone. If you saw me at the airport, you'd assume I was someone's grandpa going to visit his kids in Florida. And you'd be right, half the time. But this trip was different. My wife and I booked a week at Cascada del Mar, one of the most high-end beach resorts in Palm Beach. It's known for being exclusive, gorgeous, expensive. We'd stayed there before, always in the same private villa tucked away on a cliff overlooking the ocean. That villa, by the way? I helped design it. I don't own it, but I helped make it happen when my old company partnered with the resort chain to expand their VIP experience options. I didn't tell anyone that, though. I didn't need to. The first few days were perfect. Palm trees, waves, private chef, warm weather. My wife, Denise, loves the resort pool. She likes to people watch, swim a little, and drink cold cocktails. I like to sit in the shade and read. We've got our rhythm. One morning around 9:45 a.m., we walked over to the pool area. It was quiet, just a few people already lounging around. Denise took one chair near the corner, and I spotted a perfect seat under an umbrella, just enough shade, close to the bar, ocean view. I grabbed it, set my towel down, ordered a drink, and pulled out my Kindle. I'd barely gotten through the first page of my book when I heard heels click-clacking toward me fast. Someone was walking up hard and fast like they were ready to confront somebody. It was her. Enter the gold member. Tall, mid-50s maybe. Fake tan. Long fake nails. Blonde hair pulled back tight enough to look painful. Giant sunglasses. Chunky gold jewelry like she was going to a red carpet photo shoot. Loud on purpose. She didn't start with hello. "Excuse me," she snapped. I looked up. "You're in my chair." I looked around. No towel. No drink. No book. No sign that this chair belonged to anyone. "Oh," I said. "I didn't see anything on it. I thought it was available." She rolled her eyes like I was the dumbest person she'd ever seen. "I'm a gold member," she said. "This chair is reserved for premium-level guests. And you clearly don't belong here." I paused. Thought maybe I misheard her. "Sorry?" I asked. She crossed her arms. "Do you even stay here? You're not wearing a wristband. And that hat doesn't exactly scream VIP. Now I should mention, there are no wristbands at this resort. It's not a cruise or a cheap hotel." But she was clearly bluffing, hoping I'd panic and move. Instead, I just said, "I'm staying here. In one of the villas. This chair wasn't marked. If it's reserved, maybe talk to staff." She made a TCH noise with her mouth. "Unbelievable. Do you have any idea who I am?" At that point, I honestly didn't care. I put my sunglasses back on and turned back to my book. That set her off. 10 minutes later, she came back, with security. I should have known it wouldn't end there. This type of person never lets things go. They don't accept being ignored. Especially not by someone they assume is beneath them. She returned with 2 security guards, both in dark polos with the resort logo. The younger one looked annoyed already. The older one had that "let's just get this over with" look. "That's him," she said loudly, pointing at me. "He refuses to leave my chair. I've told him I'm a gold member. He got aggressive with me. I don't feel safe." That last part made me snap my head up. Aggressive? Me? I hadn't even raised my voice. The taller guard approached me calmly. "Sir, we've had a report of a disagreement over this lounge chair. Do you have your room key?" I reached into my shirt pocket, pulled it out, and handed it to him. He looked at it. Flipped it over. scanned the barcode on the back with a small scanner. Then he looked up, raised an eyebrow, and whispered something to his partner. She was standing behind them, arms crossed, smirking. "I want him removed," she said loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "He's clearly not a gold member. Probably snuck in off the beach." That's when I saw a familiar face walking toward us. It was Miguel, the resort manager. If you've ever stayed at a high-end resort, you know the managers are usually ghosts. You never see them unless something major happens. Well, here he was. Miguel had dark hair, a clean white shirt, name badge shining. I'd met him the night before at a private dinner for VIP guests. He introduced himself to me and Denise, thanked us for being repeat visitors, and even brought out a bottle of 20-year rum I hadn't seen on the menu. He walked straight past the guards and over to me. "Mr. Langford," he said, smiling wide. "Good morning, sir. Is everything all right here?" I stood up, shook his hand. "Morning, Miguel. I think there's been a little misunderstanding. Gloria, yes, I learned her name later, looked like someone had punched her in the stomach." Miguel turned to the guards. "This gentleman is a top-tier guest. Villa guest. Longtime member of our advisory board. I believe he also helped design our cliffside expansion, yes?" I just nodded. Miguel smiled politely at Gloria. "And who are you, madam?" She straightened up, clearly thrown off. "I'm Gloria Harmon. Gold member for 8 years. "I see," he said. "And you called security because—" She pointed again. "Because he was sitting in my chair. And I thought he didn't belong here." He didn't tell me who he was." Miguel didn't even blink. "He didn't have to. We treat all our guests with respect here, Ms. Harmon. Regardless of their wardrobe." She opened her mouth. Closed it again. Then he said the words that made her face turn a different shade of pale. "Ms. Harmon, I'm going to ask you to refrain from further complaints today. You've already disrupted several guests, and falsely accused one of our most respected patrons. We will be placing a notice on your account." And then he looked at the guards. "Please escort Ms. Harmon away from the pool. She can use the spa for the remainder of the day, but I don't want her disturbing the lounge area again." She gasped. "You're punishing me?" Miguel didn't answer. She tried to argue. Started to protest. But eventually realized she was outmatched and completely out of place. She turned and walked away in silence. After the incident, things calmed down, briefly. Denise and I spent the rest of that day enjoying the beach. Miguel even sent over a complimentary bottle of wine with dinner as an apology for the disruption. I thought that was the end of it. A bump in the road. A loud mouth with too much pride who finally got checked. That night, I went to sleep feeling like justice had already been served. But the next morning, I noticed something strange. My name was no longer on the VIP guest list. Every morning at the resort, there's a little clipboard outside the main restaurant listing villa guests with pre-reserved pool cabanas and dinner reservations. It's a small thing, but it keeps the experience running smooth. I checked it out of habit. My name? Gone. Denise's too. We weren't listed for our usual poolside cabana. No dinner slot. Nothing. I figured it was a mistake. So I went to the concierge. They smiled politely and said, "Sir, I believe your reservation has been updated." "Updated?" I asked. "How?" The young man clicked around on his screen. Then paused. "I'm not sure, actually. It looks like, you've been moved to the standard ocean view rooms." I stared at him. "What?" I showed him my keycard. "I'm in Villa 3. We checked in 2 days ago." He looked confused now. "Yes, sir, but the system says you were relocated this morning." Let me be clear, no one moves villa guests. Not without their request. Those suites are thousands of dollars a night. And I sure as hell didn't ask to be downgraded. So I walked back to the villa. Only, when I got there, my card didn't work. I tried again. Nothing. Locked out of my own suite. I called the front desk from my cell. Asked for Miguel. He wasn't available, they said. I asked again, more firmly. "Sorry, sir, he's in a meeting," I told Denise, who was just as confused as I was. We waited outside the villa for 10 minutes until a staff member showed up with a clipboard. She looked nervous. "Are you Mr. Langford?" "Yes." "Your room has been reassigned, sir. I was asked to help you with your luggage to the new suite." "No one asked me if I wanted a new suite," I said. "Who authorized this?" She checked her paper. "It says the change was approved under an account adjustment, by Gloria Harmon." I blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" She showed me the printout. Sure enough, Gloria's name was listed under requesting member authorization. That woman forged a guest services request. In my name. She must have gotten access to my name after the whole pool fiasco. Maybe she overheard it when Miguel greeted me. Maybe she watched a staff screen. Doesn't matter. Somehow, she submitted a bogus guest switch request, claiming I had agreed to move to a downgraded room due to concerns about proximity to noisy guests. She did it to mess with me. To humiliate me. The worst part? It worked. Temporarily. The staff clearly didn't double-check the signature or verify the request properly. They just followed what looked like an official upgrade/downgrade trade, something VIPs sometimes do if traveling with big groups. And Gloria? She must have done it just in time before staff rotations changed, likely hoping it would go unnoticed until it was too late. I finally got Miguel on the phone. I was polite, but direct. "Did you authorize moving me out of my villa?" I asked. He was quiet for a second. Then, "Absolutely not." I explained everything. He listened. Then I heard his voice drop. "I'll be at your door in 10 minutes. And he was. He brought his personal security guy and the head of guest services. Once I showed him the printed authorization sheet, his face changed. "This is a serious breach," he said. He apologized again. Profusely. I could tell he was angry. Not just because of the mistake, but because it happened under his nose. They reactivated my keycard and walked me back to Villa 3 personally. Denise poured us both stiff drinks, and Miguel promised to look into the situation further. That night, someone called my room. "Blocked number." I answered. There was silence. Then, a soft voice. "You don't belong here." I didn't say anything. I just hung up. But I made a note. This wasn't just about a chair anymore. It was about pride, power, and petty revenge. And she had no idea who she was messing with. The next morning, someone filed a complaint against me. When I went down to breakfast, the hostess gave me a tight smile and said, "Mr. Langford, I was told you're dining solo today?" That was odd. Denise was supposed to join me. I told her we had the 9:30 spot reserved. She frowned and checked the list. It says, Denise Langford cancelled her reservation earlier this morning. I pulled out my phone and texted her. "Me. Did you cancel breakfast?" Denise. "No. I'm just walking over now." I looked at the hostess. Check again. Sure enough, someone had accessed our room file and cancelled my wife's meal. Not mine. Just hers. They left a note on the file. Guest prefers not to dine with companion. Denise arrived 5 minutes later. She was confused. I was furious. Miguel wasn't available again. In meetings. But the front desk did have something else for me, a letter. The letter was printed on resort stationery, hand-delivered. It read, "Mr. Langford, we take harassment complaints seriously. Several guests have reported feeling uncomfortable around you. Please refrain from initiating conversations with other guests in shared spaces. Continued reports may result in restrictions to public areas. Thank you, guest services." I stared at it for a good 30 seconds. I hadn't spoken to anyone except staff and Denise since the lounge chair incident. I went to the front desk again and asked who filed it. They wouldn't tell me. Said it was anonymously submitted by multiple guests. But there was a note attached to my digital file that read, "Flag for inappropriate behavior around female guests. Repeated unwanted conversation." That's when it clicked. She was trying to build a case. Slowly. Carefully. Gloria was trying to get me banned. This wasn't just pettiness anymore. It was personal. And it was about to backfire. I finally spoke to someone on the inside. One of the bellhops, young guy named Tyson, recognized me from a hotel leadership seminar I gave years ago. I used to do small business talks at partner resorts before I sold my company. He pulled me aside discreetly. "Sir," he said, "I think someone's trying to screw with your file." "What do you mean?" "I overheard a woman in the lobby yesterday. Blonde, sunglasses, loud voice. She was asking one of the junior front desk girls how to file a formal behavioral flag on another guest. Did she say my name? No. But she asked how to add a note so it looks internal. Like a staff member flagged it instead of a guest. Now I was boiling inside. Do you know if she added anything?" Tyson hesitated. "Look, off the record, I'm not supposed to say this. But your file has been updated multiple times since yesterday. Like, someone's been accessing it who shouldn't be." "Who?" "She used someone else's tablet. One of the staff left it unattended. That's all I know." That was enough for me. I knew exactly what I had to do next. I called someone I hadn't talked to in years. Let's call him Jack. He's not a lawyer. He's corporate security. When I sold my company, I made sure he got a spot in the acquiring firm's executive staff. Now he oversees guest data security for the entire chain, including Cascada del March. I told him everything. Every detail. There was a pause. Then he said, "Give me 48 hours. Stay put. Don't confront anyone. And don't touch the resort's online portal. Don't log in. Don't reset your password. Just act like everything's normal." I did what he said. What I didn't expect was what happened the next night. A woman knocked on my door in the middle of the night. It was about 1:20 a.m. Denise was already asleep. The knock wasn't loud. Just sharp. I opened the door a few inches and kept the chain on. It was a woman, not Gloria. Early 30s maybe. Brunette dressed in the resort's spa uniform. She leaned in and whispered, "Be careful. She's watching you." I froze. "What?" She asked me to check if you were alone. "Who?" She didn't answer. She just walked away. I tried to call the front desk. No answer. When I looked through the peephole, no one was there anymore. I stood there for a while, listening to nothing. Just waves crashing far off in the dark. Then I locked every latch on the door and didn't sleep the rest of the night. Something's going on here. Something bigger. I don't think Gloria's just a gold member. I think she's got something to hide. Or someone's helping her. But she picked the wrong person this time. I've spent my whole career dealing with boardroom snakes, cutthroat competitors, and power-hungry execs who'd lie to your face and stab you in the back before you've finished your coffee. Gloria? She thinks she's clever. But she doesn't know I've already started recording everything. Screenshots. Voice memos. Photos. Log dates and times. Jack will be here in person tomorrow. So will Miguel. And this time, it won't be behind closed doors. My old friend Jack arrived that morning. Corporate security. Smart, quiet, ex-military type. Wears a watch that could probably hack satellites. He walked into the villa like he already knew the ending to this story. Miguel, the resort manager, joined us in the private lounge. His face was pale, like someone had been breathing down his neck for days. "Is it true?" he asked Jack. "Did she really get into the system?" Jack nodded and dropped a small hard drive on the table. "We traced the logins. The system logs every time a staff tablet is used. She accessed it 3 times under someone else's credentials." He turned to me. "And she used it to report you to guest services, cancel your reservations, submit a room transfer, and, get this, authorize herself for an upgrade to a spa suite." "She used my account to upgrade herself?" I asked. Jack smiled, thin and sharp. "Yep. And she left digital fingerprints all over the place." Miguel sat back. "We can confront her privately. Terminate her account." But I wasn't done. "No," I said. "We're going to do this publicly. She embarrassed me in front of other guests. She dragged my name through the mud. We're going to let everyone see what she really is." Every Friday morning the resort hosts a gold member brunch. On the rooftop terrace. Champagne. Seafood towers. Live music. Invite only. Guess who showed up in head-to-toe white linen, already sipping mimosas? Gloria. Guess who also got a personal invitation this time? Me, Denise, Jack, Miguel, and a few people from the resort's parent company. We waited until the crowd settled, the music softened, and the speeches began. Then Miguel stepped up with a microphone. "Before we begin," he said, "we'd like to recognize one of our founding supporters. A man who helped us shape our villa program, who's been a long-time friend of this resort family." He gestured toward me. "Mr. Langford." Polite applause. Gloria froze mid-sip. Her smile cracked. "And today," Miguel continued, "we also need to clarify a matter that's come to our attention, regarding account misuse, fraud, and harassment of a fellow guest." Now she was fully alert. Eyes darting. Her fingers tightened around her champagne glass. Jack stepped forward. "Ms. Harmon," he said calmly, "we have video surveillance, system logs, and 3 eyewitnesses confirming you accessed private staff devices and manipulated guest files. You submitted fraudulent reports, falsely accused another guest of misconduct, and attempted to remove them from the property." She stood. "That's a lie." Jack didn't flinch. "Would you like to see the footage?" He pulled out a tablet. "Press play." On the screen, Gloria, sitting behind an unattended front desk. Tapping through menus. Smiling. Approving her own upgrade. Flagging me as a problem guest. Then, clear as day, she turns to the camera and winks. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "What the hell?" Then came the final blow. Jack turned to Miguel. Her membership has been terminated. Effective immediately. Miguel nodded. Security will escort you off the premises. She panicked. I was set up. He did this. She shouted, pointing at me. He wanted this to happen. He's obsessed with control. He's dangerous. No one moved. The silence was brutal. She looked around, realizing no one was buying it. Her face crumpled, not angry now, but desperate. Please, she said to Miguel. You know me. I've been coming here for years. You abused our staff, Ms. Harmon. You targeted a guest and lied. That ends today. She tried one last time. Looked at me, eyes glossy. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said, voice shaking. I thought you were nobody. I thought you were bluffing. I said nothing. Denise stood beside me, hand on my arm. Security walked Gloria out in front of everyone. No applause this time. Just silence, champagne glasses half raised, and the sound of her heels echoing on the tiles as she vanished down the hall. Later that night, Denise and I walked the beach in quiet. I thought I'd feel good. Triumphant. But I didn't. I felt tired. She didn't just mess with our stay. She tried to ruin my reputation. She used staff. Lied. Created chaos. And she enjoyed it, right up until the moment she was exposed. And I kept thinking, why? Why go that far over a lounge chair? It wasn't about the chair. It was about pride. Image. Control. She couldn't stand the idea that someone like me, old, quiet, dressed like a tourist, might outrank her. Might matter more than her status card or fake smile. She needed to tear me down to feel bigger. And when it failed, she burned everything trying to get it back. Miguel apologized again. So did the resort staff. They offered us an extended stay, free of charge. We declined. Jack flew back to New York the next morning. Before leaving, he said something that stuck with me. People like her only win when you play their game on their level. You didn't. You made her play on yours. I used to believe that if you just kept your head down, treated people with respect, and stayed calm, you could avoid most problems. This week taught me that's mostly true. But sometimes, you have to stand up and show your teeth. Even if they're old and a little crooked. Because if you don't, people like Gloria never learn.